Welcome back, happy people. We are in Baie Verte, New Brunswick, and we are heading out to a fort that is from the 1700s. It has the oldest military graves in Canada. That's right. In my backyard, in your backyard, the Maritimes has the oldest military graves. Now we're going to take a little recce here and go on the trail. I have a trail pass, which are mutually recognized, and this is going to take us right out to where we need to go. So you can see here off to the right, you see Baie Verte. The reason obviously it's been named that is that in the summertime the waters here in the bay only get to be about 6 feet deep for a very long ways out at high tide, and even less than that at half and at low tide. These people here, they're going fishing, I guess, or getting done fishing. All the boys. Dirt bike and everything, cool. And there's some kids with some priorities right there. They're learning more about life fishing in Baie Verte than you could ever learn anywhere else. They have responsibilities, they got to get themselves home. I didn't see any helmets, but it didn't look that hard. Anyway, we're heading out to Gaspereau Fort, which is an English fort, and it was manned during the 1700s as an outpost for storage. It had a storehouse. It wasn't an actual battle fort. It wasn't meant to protect the bay. It did have a small garrison there, but it wasn't manned as you would see over in Fort Beausejour, which used to be known as Fort Moncton. And during the 7-Year War around here, in 1757, there was a whole bunch of these guys who were killed by an Indian raid while they were gathering firewood over in Fort Moncton. And these guys were buried here in 1757, making it the oldest known military grave in Canada. Kind of a cool spot. We're gonna go and have a look. Oh, and I have a passenger with me today. My oldest. My daughter, she is on the back. Wanted to go on one of the adventures with Dad, so here we are. What did you think of that?
I thought the building was good. This thing is so nice.
It is better, eh?
Yeah.
So, with the help of my assistant today, you can see that the trench is built so that you can identify where the outside of the fort wall is. It turns out that the inside of the trench, right here, to the right of Haley, is where the outside wall was. Now imagine it being about 15 feet high and unable to be climbed over by anyone without a ladder. That's what was here. And that's what the trench is for, to outline the outside of the fort itself. Look at the spikes on this. Man, the place is still well defended. It's like a weapon. Now, before anyone freaks out about me making videos on a grave site, I think it's really important to discuss what these graves represent. These are the oldest military graves in Canada, and you can see how there's very little inscription on them. You can see some outlines and stuff like that, but you can't make them out. If it wasn't for some of the old news articles, we would have no idea who was buried here, and we still don't know everybody who's buried here, which is really important, so we're going to be respectful for it. But ultimately what happens is after you bury someone and you've lost them once, well, when you lose their name, they die a second time. So we're doing this more or less to commemorate who is here, and so that they're not lost to time. You have to remember that having a site that is so old in our English tradition and identified is just as valuable as other things. And just because their headstones aren't as fancy or as big as someone else's doesn't mean they shouldn't be commemorated for what they are and who they are. So we're going to give you an opportunity. I'll get up in close here, have a little bit of a look to see if we can see anything on the stones themselves, but ultimately this is a remarkable spot that just stopping by to visit means that you've been to the oldest military gravesite in Canada. So the bridge as you walk in is the main entrance to the fort, and as you came in through the fort wall, right about here, there was a guard room, and over here there was a bakery, and there was also a stores house over there, and officers' quarters down at the back. And I'll put a map up in the video here to show you guys exactly what this looked like. It was a very basic rudimentary fort. There was no battle barracks, there was no cannons, there was nothing like that. It was just a storehouse with a small contingent that was here to protect the fort itself. Look at the walkway. Isn't that cool? Channel markers for the river. So we just finished our tour of Fort Gaspareaux. We got to see the oldest grave sites, and we're just heading out to a place called Cape Tourmentine. This is where the old ferry used to leave from New Brunswick to PEI before they built the Confederation Bridge, which is the link between the two provinces over the Northumberland Strait. It's one of the second or third longest over water bridges, non-suspended over water bridges in the world right now. So that statistic could be off, but I mean it's one of the longest. It's like 12 kilometers long. And the place we're heading to is where they used to put the ferry in, and I haven't been here since I was a little boy, maybe 5 years old, so I don't remember any of it, and we're gonna go and have a look at it. Legendary, look at it. So this is where the ferry used to launch from to go over to PEI with all the cars. Big beaches, lots of room. There's the old laneways where people used to have to line up, cars going off, cars going on. She suffered some losses in the storm. Kayak adventures. There's the bridge way over there. Isn't that amazing? You can see the whole thing.
Yeah. It's so pretty.
What's back here now? Oh, just the wharf? check out his bike. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. That's it for this episode. If you enjoy what you see, like, subscribe, share, get the word out, have an adventure nearby, get yourself a motorcycle or take anything you can, bicycle, car, feet, whatever you need. Just that easy. Look at what we're finding. And we're not even trying that hard. Having lots of adventures nearby. See ya. It's so hard to keep this bike under 120.